Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us tonight at the Medicine Hat School Board Trustee Candidate Forum, hosted by the Alberta Teachers Association, Local Number 1. Please be aware that tonight's proceedings are being recorded and will be posted online in the near future. This is also an opportunity to check the volume on your phone. Yeah. We appreciate these members of our community for stepping forward and offering their time, passion, and expertise to help support Medicine Hat Public School System. I also appreciate all of you who came to be our audience tonight and make this event a success. Let's introduce our candidates, starting at my left in alphabetical order by first name. Feel free, candidates, to give a little wave. At table number 1 here is Mrs. Becky Poirier, Ms. Catherine Wilson. At table number 2, Dr. Deborah Forbes, Ms. Gwendolyn Dirk. At table number 3, Ms. Jan Klein and Mrs. Janelle Vargo. At table number 4, Mrs. Jessie Bishop, Mrs. Megan Hilgendorf. At table number 5, Mr. Pat Grisnich, Mr. Quinn Skelton, and at table number 6, Mr. Wesley Patterson and Mrs. Yvonne Sissons. Danielle Beach was unable to attend due to a family emergency. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. My name is Dallas Harrison, and I would like to offer my land acknowledgement. Medicine Hat is located on the traditional territory of the Cree Nation and the Blackfoot Confederacy, which consists of the Sitsiga, the Kainai, and the Piikani. It is also part of the traditional homeland of the Métis people. I feel that it is perfect that we are holding this forum in a building which is designed for the sharing of knowledge and wisdom from our elders. Let us honor that tradition tonight by conducting ourselves with respect, integrity, truth, and wisdom. In terms of the proceedings tonight, we have 3 questions for the candidates. I will read the first question, and we will start at table 1, and then proceed down the table until everyone has had a chance to respond. Candidates will get only 90 seconds to respond, and our lovely timekeepers, if you focus really hard, you can see them right up at the bottom of the stairs there with your time. So when it says 1, that means you have 1 minute, 30 is 30 seconds, and done with the happy face means you're done. I'll probably cut you off. At the end of the time, you'll be asked to stop speaking so that we may demonstrate respect and honor everyone's time. The second question will be read, and this time we'll start down at table 3, continuing down the line, back here to the beginning until all candidates have had a chance to respond, again with 90 seconds. For question 3, we're going to start down at table 5, continuing table 5, table 6, jumping to table 1, and down the line until all candidates have had their 90 seconds. To conclude, each candidate will be given a final 90 seconds to share any closing remarks. This one's going to be different. We're going to start way down at the far end of table 6, and proceed in reverse order back towards the podium. Candidates are allowed to ask for the questions to be repeated. Candidates are not allowed to infringe on each other's time by speaking out of turn. We will honor each person's time to respond, and we will again conduct ourselves with integrity by adhering to the procedure. We would also like to encourage that our audience demonstrates respect by keeping any conversation to a minimum. All clear? All right. Timekeepers, you're good? All right. Yeah, okay, I'll help you out. See? You can see it. You're good. Okay. So we're going to start with question 1, which will start right here at table 1, and they will each get 90 seconds. What areas of education require immediate action in the Medicine Hat Public School Division, and what is your plan to address them?
That's actually a great question. I would say special needs is one of my top priorities, at least. My oldest son, he's 23 now, he's autistic, ADHD, and when he went to school, there were so many supports for him. He was able to attend a special ed class, which I was absolutely against in the beginning. I want him mainstreamed, I want him in with his peers, but he struggled so much. And when I finally broke and let him go into the class that he was meant to be in, he thrived. He truly thrived, and he's doing well and independent and working on his own. He lives on his own. He has a job that makes him really excited. I see what having the proper resources for our children, especially our special needs children, does for their long-term success. So for me, that's a top priority.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you're not, I don't want to like embody what you're saying, but I think what it comes down to is resources for our classrooms, but also funding. And so when it comes to classes that are diverse, it works well if you have the assistants in the classroom. And so funds should be in the classroom, class sizes should be kept at a minimum, and that every student that wants to be integrated into a classroom, if they have the special needs, then they have someone that helps them find the funding for those special needs so that they are not alone, because I think together we can make it work. But we also have these wonderful improvements that we're looking at. We've got CASA classrooms now, which are showing to be successful for kids, and they come with all sorts of supports, and so we're getting there. The thing is we need funding, and we need the government to come through for all children in classrooms, and then we will have basically our resources all into one. However, we need to keep remembering that public school funding needs to have class sizes that are small, because it's not fair when they're up to 30 kids, and with 30 kids of different needs.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to build on this topic that's been that's been emerging. I think class size is essential. Keeping class size to a point where teachers and EAs and other support workers in the classroom could actually know those people. Because the older I get and the more I learn about learning, the more I learn that none of us learns the same as another one. And so if a teacher has so many students that they cannot know when that student is learning best, we're going to be missing, like, not just children with highly specialized needs, but we're going to be missing a lot of other children. So class size is at the top of that. I think making sure that Alberta is spending not the lowest amount on education in the country, we're the lowest. That we're spending at least, let's strive for the middle. And so if education funding went up to, even like Alberta's right now, it's 13 point something $1,000 per student, and I got 30 seconds left. And Quebec is 19,000. Even if we could fall in the middle somewhere and keep our teachers' salaries up to a point where they're almost approaching cost of living, that would help us. So class size, paying teachers properly, and I'm passing it on to Gwenda.
Thank you. This is a difficult question to answer because I feel like there are so many needs in the classroom right now. I agree with the funding. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to work with the funding that we have from the government, but I do believe in advocating hard, and I would be a very hard advocate for appropriate funding for our classrooms in Alberta. And as Deb said, it is pathetic that we are the lowest funded province in all of Canada. But I'm going to focus in a little bit on class sizes in Medicine Hat 76. I don't think that's as big of a problem as some of the larger cities. What I found going back, I went back to sub in 2023, and supports in the classroom for special needs students. That is so essential. It is to have a good educational assistant in the classroom with you when you have high needs students is essential. You have to have that. You can build capacity within the teachers to differentiate instruction to the nth degree, and that's very important, and the district does a very good job with this. But you also need those educational assistants in the classroom. How's my time? Okay, am I finished? Okay, 3 seconds. I guess I'm finished, thank you.
Oh, you can keep the microphone at this stage.
Yeah. Thanks, I'm Jan. I'm running mainly because of the concerns of public education. The funding isn't there for our students. We need to concentrate on advocating strong for teachers' wages, classroom sizes, resources in the classroom. I come from a background myself of a child who had been special needs, and I've gone through the challenges and the challenges, the incredible challenges, and the potential of inclusive education. Today, my son is a productive adult, and initially I was told he might never learn to read and maybe can work in a pet shop, but he's now working, family, house, and has 2 children. So it's important that we get the right funding and the right support for our teachers so this can happen to other children in the school. Thank you.
I would have to agree with a lot of what has been said. I'm a mother with a child that's on the autism spectrum, and being a former EA, I've been within the classrooms working alongside of the teachers with the students with complex needs, and also helping those students that don't have very defined needs, but they do need support and help. So I definitely think that finding the resources that and the funding that needs to be brought forward and used appropriately within the areas that it needs to be. Looking at programs that can help students with those special needs to be able to become the citizens that they want to be. So if it's life skills, if it's whatever it may be, we need to listen and work together. And yeah, thank you.
Well, absolutely, funding definitely needs to increase, but we can advocate only so much for that. There's until they come to the table, there's so much we can do with that. Locally, I feel like we definitely need the supports in the classroom. I also feel like we need to collaborate more locally in terms of, I see partnership opportunities that we can go on to help funding in the school, programs in the school. I think we can expand that. And I think we need to kind of listen and communicate to our parents a little better with just involving them in no one knows our kids better than our parents, and I feel like we need to involve them a little bit more into the classroom itself. Thank you.
So I had no idea how loud I was going to be, so here we go. You're going to hear a mix of kind of everything. I agreed with a lot of what everybody said. So complex classrooms is what I hear most when I'm talking to teachers that work and education workers that work within the division generally. It's complex classrooms. So they're managing multiple behavior needs, learning needs, and so they're pivoting all day long. And how do you really focus on kids and build really good relationships with them, especially when you've got 30 kids? That's really difficult to do. So are we going to get the funding? Yeah, you need funding for supports. That is critical. And we know, as so many people here said from their personal experiences with their own kids, when you have the right supports there, kids can thrive no matter what their situation is. So I really think it's a partnership all around. It's partnering with parents because, as Jessie said, they know their kids best. Partnering with nonprofit groups around the province who have more organization and experience, maybe advocating for inclusion, kids with diverse needs. There's so much we can do. And also working with our superintendent, who is the person in charge of day-to-day operations, they can inform us about what teachers are seeing in the classrooms themselves. So it's partnership all around.
Yeah, I think it's important that we look at the complexity of the classrooms we have, but I've got to be honest with you, when I look at what our teachers and our EAs and our administration are doing, they're doing an amazing job. So they're dealing with the complexities. We need to support them with more with more funding, with more EAs. But I can't just pick one, because I think we also have to look at the fact that in order to maintain smaller class sizes in our elementary, we have to make sometimes our junior and high schools bigger classes, bigger class sizes. So we need to work on how we can lower their class sizes, because our high school and junior high teachers are doing a tremendous job working in that area. We also have to advocate for a lot of the option classes that we have. We need to lower that. We need to get more funding, because we need to create these options that are more hands-on. These are really, really important. So we can't just stop at the elementary. We need to continue what we're doing with elementary, but we have to continue making sure we're advocating for those students in junior high and those students in high school. It's really, really important. So for me, to pick one area is really difficult, but I know overall we need more funding from our government.
Thanks, Pat. The areas that I was considering, listening to the rest and thinking of my notes here, I think an overall survey and inventory of what's going well locally from K to 12, what are some of the real positive programs, build on them, and then find out where some of the areas that need some care and some dollars spent towards them for sure. Obviously, the class size is a hot topic, and I totally agree with that as a teacher myself, being there. Been there, done that, and I know that's an important one, and as long as dollars can permit, yeah, let's do it for sure. Complexity as well, I see that one in a lot of different ways. Yes, for sure, all our special needs areas need to be addressed and continue being supported, but also the complexity shows up in the classroom with our new Canadians and language issues, and those are also areas that we need support right from K right through 12. And then continuing on as we can, building our public education with continuing to offering high quality academics, our vocational classes, and making sure our students are coming out as prepared as they possibly can and be successful that way. But I think we can do a great job.
Good evening, everyone. I've heard over the last few weeks a number of teachers complaining about this very thing, about the challenges with complexity, them having very diverse class sizes, having individuals that should be receiving one-on-one care and they don't have any EAs, assistance. So this is definitely echoing what many have said here. As a certified management consultant who specializes in organizational health, I also understand that complex challenges require systematic solutions. Our classrooms today include students with learning differences, new Canadians learning English, and have children facing various challenges, each deserving quality education. I would approach this with three key strategies. First, advocating, like many have said, for increased provincial funding, specifically targeted at classroom supports, including educational assistance and specialized resources. Second, working with administration to optimize resource allocation using evidence-based management practices that I've developed through the years of consulting. And third, fostering partnerships, and really, like what Megan said, with community organizations to provide wraparound supports for both students and families. Especially this time, I can really feel with parents trying to entertain a 5-year-old throughout the day right now. I've helped organizations across sectors solve complex problems, and I look to bring that forward. Thank you.
Good evening. To just bring it all home here, first order of business is getting our teachers and students back into the classroom. Teachers have made it very clear they're dealing with ever-increasing complexities in classrooms, including children with complex care needs, as mentioned, English as additional language learners, and unprecedented immigration numbers without the supports from government. Here in our division, I can speak to the fact that our division has worked so hard to develop and expand our specialized classrooms throughout several of our elementary and middle schools. This is work that's definitely moving in the right direction. I'd just like to take a moment to put a plug in for something I've been wanting to speak about. I was very excited and hopeful to hear the news about a new citizen-initiated referendum question, which was approved on October 7th by Elections Alberta. The question asks, should the government of Alberta end its current practice of allocating public funds to private schools? I hope we'll all stay closely tuned to the progress of this petition over the next few months. It's 120 days to collect signatures starting today. 178,000 signatures need to be collected. I hope I'm one of the first people to sign this petition and that others also sign. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. We're just going to pause for like 2 seconds here to hand out some water bottles. Well, some of them brought water, but some will need water. Mr. Neary, I think. Oh, down here. You still have one. Thank you. Right. There we go. Thank you, sir. Oh, sorry, does somebody still need one? One? Okay, I'll wait. Sure, I'll take one. Oh, we're playing pass the water bottle down? Yeah. Oh, okay. See if we surprise him when he comes back. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thanks, okay. All right, thank you everyone for your patience there. We're going to start into question 2. Question 2 again has 90 seconds. We'll be starting at table 3 with this one, so that's down at Ms. Jan Klein, continuing down to 6 and then wrapping back here to table 1. So the second question, how would you support the school system to provide adequately for students with learning and or behavior difficulties?
Interesting question. Well, the first thing is we do need funding. So I think it's important that as a board we advocate very strongly for funding for proper resources in the classroom. We need to be able to support our teachers at this time. I know the individual plans are extensive if you've got several kids in your room, and it's hard to meet the needs of every child in the room. Also, too, I think the important part is to bring in the parents. Parents are great resources and support for the teachers. I know myself, my son could be a little bit of a challenge, but if I knew about it, I was able to help and give him the right direction to control his behavior in the classroom as well. So we have to work as a team. It's important that we recognize that we maybe need community supports as well. Maybe some mental health programs could come in and help those individual children that are suffering from mental health issues. It's very complex, but again, it's funding that's most important.
Can you repeat the question one more time, please?
Totally. Do I have a mic? How would you support the school system to provide adequately for students with learning and or behavior difficulties?
I think that we need to work together as a team with not just the teachers and the parents, but also within the community. We need to work with the OTs and the PTs and the speech and the mental health that comes within the schools. We need to work together and see what more can we do, what more do we need. I think we also need to think about the PD sessions, the training and other supports that we can give to the teachers and the EAs. What do they need to feel like they can handle the complexity?
Sorry, could you repeat the question again?
Totally. How would you support the school system to provide adequately for students with learning and or behavior difficulties?
I think it's a collaborative approach. I have a son who's kind of have learning complexity issues, and I made it very clear to the teacher that call me in every time, and I've been in the classroom every week for the last 2 years, and it's been a wonderful experience, not only helping my kid, but other kids. I think we definitely need to encourage more parent supports in the classroom when we don't have the funding available, but we absolutely have to advocate more for the funding. I think there's, with complexity, you kind of have to assess by each student, so it's not an easy one-size-fits-all solution. I feel there's different approaches you can take, but yeah, that's.
So I think when you have diverse needs, so whether that is intellectual disabilities or behavioral issues, as everybody's already said, I'll just reiterate, you need supports because kids can thrive when the adequate support is there. And of course, as we're going to say this a lot, but funding is necessary for that. But there's also something to be said that this should be thought of at a system level. So when we are thinking about this as the decision makers who make the policies and we're making the choices, we're thinking about everybody under the division's umbrella. So that's the students and it's the teachers. When the students feel supported, it's really difficult for them when they don't have the supports. They want to be in the classroom, but they need to be supported. And the teachers, it's not for a lack of trying, they want to support them as well. So again, working with local community partners, working with nonprofit groups across the province to develop our understanding and changing our overall attitude about how we feel about kids, whether they have intellectual disabilities, physical disabilities, or behavioral needs. We need to change our attitudes when we're making these choices. And I have 30 seconds left, so I'm just going to keep going. That is just speaking to culture, right? So again, we mentioned parents' input is really important. I'd love to make it streamlined so that it was easier for parents to communicate what their needs are. I did a seminar with Inclusion Alberta recently where 2 parents talked about their experience. They're often left to navigate the school system on their own, and it's really difficult. So finding a way to connect to parents, make it easier for them to talk to us so that we're informed. Thank you.
This is a great question, and it's a really important one. We start by we really have to support our teachers and we have to support our EAs in the classroom because they're in the front lines doing that work. Our administration is doing that as well. And we support them by, number one, talking to the government about advocating and getting the funding we need. But I like what people have said. We have to collaborate with the parents. The parents are vital in this decision. We can't just, and we don't. Our teachers do an amazing job, and our schools are doing an amazing job of bringing the parents in when it comes to getting involved with this. That has to continue to be the number one way of dealing with any issues in the classroom. Our students deserve to be in the schools that are in their areas where they live. We want to advocate for them to be there. And we know there's going to be learning disabilities, and we know there's going to be problems, but we have to advocate to keep them in the classroom as much as we can. We also need to, as I said to you, we're really fortunate because our school district has done an amazing job. And if you get a chance, we have a culture of wellness framework that they've used. When you talk about getting the community involved, the number of programs that we have in place and the number of things that are out there for families and resources they can turn to deals exactly with that question. There's so many agencies and so many community people we can use and utilize to our strengths to help the families, to help these students, most importantly our students, but also to help our teachers. So I think it's really, really important that it's a collaboration, but we always have to keep in mind that we're always asking the government for more support.
Oh, you're good. Good job, Pat. Very complex question and lots of different areas to go with it. I totally support the idea of bringing along the community resources in all types of different areas there, mental health, community resources and connections that are out there, and building whatever relationships we can within the school, within those resources, and yes, definitely bring in the parents as much as you can with those students, whether it be a behavior issue or just a complex learning issue, building that relationship for sure with the parents. Now, from the board side of that, as you can fund it and support it, yes, for sure, that should be there. But also thinking of the teachers. I think our admin and our teachers do their best that they can, and if they know that they're supported when they set expectations up within the school, if they have arranged and made, I'll say, guidelines for expected behavior that allows kids then to learn, not just those ones that maybe have the issues, but all the other kids that are involved in the classroom too, and support those admin and support those teachers so that they can have that safe environment for all the students in the classroom, and not just addressing those behaviors as individual one-off areas.
It's a very interesting question, and it's interesting having talked to some of the teachers in the last little bit about this issue, especially when we look at behavioral issues, is there's law here in Alberta about violence and harassment. Yet there's lots of teachers that feel that they're going to get reprisal if they bring forward some of these issues that are happening. And so I think we need to really support the teachers and allow that to be safe to bring these issues forward if there's extreme behavioral issues happening in the classroom, because everyone deserves the right to a respectful place to go to work without that fear. And I think that a lot of teachers are feeling that reprisal if they bring it up. I was also talking recently with an educational consultant about the dollar efficiency being used in the classroom allocation. And she mentioned going through a local school, and they get about $9,000 per student, and they had 4 identified students, and they get an extra 17 if they're coded a certain way, and yet that classroom didn't have any extra support. So I think we need to make sure that the supports are going to the classrooms that have this higher need with those issues in those specific classrooms.
So once again, I'll bring to attention our expanded specialized classrooms throughout our division schools. Families and teachers work together to determine if a student is a good fit for these specialized classrooms. We also now have a designated CASA classroom that supports students with defined mental health complexities. Supporting our teachers and EAs in the type of professional development we offer is also key. Some of our professional development focuses on de-escalation techniques and in-the-moment strategies for maintaining a safe environment. As mentioned already, funding, of course, plays a role, and advocacy work at the local and provincial level must continue to occur. Thank you.
Hi. Yeah, so this is a great question, and I've been thinking about it here and listening to everybody's answers. And I would say that one of the things that I felt from other parents is this frustration of not understanding why there's not funding here. Often there's a lack of communication. So we'll say, I'm sorry you can't have that one-to-one EA. But they don't go beyond that. What's the reason? Because my child qualifies for this, but they don't understand why they're not getting it. So having that better communication with the parents, talking about that collaboration is very important. I think one of the benefits that I bring here to this specific question is that in my social work career, I worked with Bridges Family Programs, and one of the things I did was support families working with the education system, accessing resources in the community for them, but also helping bridge that gap, because I understood the teacher side of it and the administration side of it, but I also understood from a parent perspective of a child with special needs and behavioral issues, the challenges there and the frustration. Often we hit this wall and we're just frustrated because we don't understand. So having that mediator there is very important. Also, there are free trainings that we could offer to our teachers, such as the Brain Story, which teaches people about trauma and that impact on the brain.
And I'm going to have you repeat the question, not because I don't know what it is, but because I want to wrap it all up into my own.
Thank you.
How would you support the school system to provide adequately for students with learning and/or behavior difficulties?
So it takes a village to raise a child. And I think we as a division are doing a really great job at supporting our children, our teachers, our EAs, our administration. And when we are sitting at the table, it is about kids. And it's kids are first, and how our teachers are doing and handling the classroom setting. We understand it's complex out there. What it comes down to, of course, is funding. But without funding, we also need parent support, and we need volunteers, and we need people in the classroom. So I'll give you an example. We decided to hold a forum for parents and caregivers to come to the board office and work with the board for a weekend. And it was being put on by Alberta School Councils Association, and this was about building relationships within our community, because if we need to maintain our classrooms, let's get the support in there the best way we can, which is volunteers, parents, caregivers. No one showed up. Not one person. And we made it on a Saturday, and we wanted to build those relationships. I go to school council meetings. It is the same parents every time I attend my school council meetings. The biggest thing they come to us saying is, how can we get more members? How can we get more people involved? People are busy, lives are busy. But this is the thing. Why is it that the last 2 weeks of this election is when school council and trusteeship matter? We're about educating kids for the future. We are the future. And so really, all year long, it should matter what's happening in our schools and where are the supports for our teachers.
Catherine was on a roll. The motto for our school district is to learn, to grow, to build a better world. And this is exactly what we're trying to do with specialized learning in Medicine Hat. We're all talking about getting more money for different kinds of supports and bringing the parents in. This is all laudable. But to build a better world, we're going to need post-secondary research projects that are going to help us understand better how we can do things. And we have one right now. I am so excited about this. We're working with Dr. Jeffrey McCormick from University of Lethbridge, and he's in one of our programs, and he works with the staff, and the staff works with him. He's not coming in as the big knowledgeable. He's coming in trying to work with our staff and our parents and our children to figure out how we can do this better, how we can do this more appropriately. Also bringing in, as people have said, partnerships in the community, bring ready enterprises in. There's huge expertise over there, especially with older children, older youth making their way into, I'll get there, making their youth into the work world. And so, you know, kind of bring in the expertise that we could become part of building a better world of research for people with specialized learning needs. That's me. Oh, sorry.
She doesn't want me to speak.
I do. I do.
I'm kidding.
I don't know left and right, and I wrote left and right on my hands, so I could do it better. But...
Every single child matters in the classroom. The special needs child matters, and the regular child matters. I would really like to see really good qualified EAs in the classroom. EAs are in my mind, sometimes the most underappreciated, underpaid, but so valuable team member in that classroom when the teacher has special needs students. I believe in integration, but sometimes in certain cases, taking students out of the classroom is necessary, especially in behavior disorders. From what I've seen in the district, I've been subbing for the last 2 years, I actually taught for 6 weeks in grade 3, is I think there could be more supports with EAs in the classroom, and funding is a very important component of that. But I'm going to come to the question of what is governance? Governance, as a school board trustee, means that you have oversight on the budget, and so you can decide how you can advocate, yes, for how money is spent. And I think the board does a very good job of this, and I don't think that as a new trustee, I can come in with answers necessarily, because you need to listen first. That's my job, to listen to all stakeholders. Sorry, I'm out of time.
Thank you, candidates. Okay, so for question 3, which again, you'll get 90 seconds, we're going to start way down with table 5. So it'll be starting with Mr. Pat Grisnich. And then once they finish at 6, we'll be jumping back up here. This one's a little long. Ready? School board trustees are entrusted to focus on student achievement and well-being by promoting a safe, inclusive, and respectful learning environment. Should the school board encourage programs for students who may identify as minority groups, such as sexual and gender minorities, religious minorities, and cultural minorities? Shall I repeat the question part of it again? Yeah, okay. The question part. Should the school board encourage programs for students who may identify as minority groups, such as sexual and gender minorities, religious minorities, and cultural minorities?
What I'm most proud of as being a teacher and being in public education is we accept all students that come to us. And we want to make sure we provide a safe and caring environment, and we want them to feel that their needs are being met. And I think it's important that we do this. I could never imagine working in a district where we alienate kids or we alienate kids because of their beliefs. I wouldn't want to be in a system like that. I'm most proud of the fact that we offer kids the programs that they need. We offer them the ability to run clubs that are important to them. I'm so impressed with what's going on in our school to identify the needs of our students. Whatever their needs might be, we have to make sure that we support it. I'm impressed with how many teachers are volunteering to do these things, how we get the community involved, going through the school boards to making sure it's what we want that the needs to be. So again, I just think it's really important that we support whatever our students are identifying at. We have to be there to support them. We have to make sure that they feel safe. I think we do provide a safe and caring environment in our schools. I think we've used community involvement to help us in that pursuit, and I just think it's really important that this is what we continue to do.
Could you repeat the last part?
Yep. Should the school board encourage programs for students who may identify as minority groups, such as sexual and gender minorities, religious minorities, and cultural minorities?
Like Pat has mentioned, I think all students deserve the opportunity to feel safe in the environment, the educational environment, school environment, and then all their needs, depending what is available for resources and the adults that are within the building to help build that, for sure, that should be there. Encouraging it, I'm not really sure how to take that word in the question, but absolutely, if there's a identifiable need, I think then those adults that are involved, whether it be administration or above at the school district level, for sure, support it. And if there's a need and a want that needs to be filled, then yeah, let's support it and go after it, if that is the case. As far as promoting and just going out of our regular support for the rest of the programs, I just don't know if we're able to do it, and of course, just making sure that we have the resources and people to support it, not just say, yeah, we can do it, and then not do an adequate job of looking after those needs either.
So one of the interesting things we found when we did some work out in Brooks at the JBS facility is we had extremely diverse group. We had 120 countries represented. We had varying educational levels. We had every type of religion, every type of belief system, 80 different languages, varying levels of ESL. And we found that there were core principles that we could teach. So I think as a public school, we should embrace this. And I think the communities that lead best are those that are student-driven. So when students get together and they have that diverse or minority or that viewpoint, and they're allowed to freely create clubs and organizations for that, we should definitely be supportive of that as long as that isn't infringing on anyone else. And I think that is basic human rights. And as a school board, we should look at that. And we should also look at diversity in bringing different industries and bringing different technology and allowing different tools for these kids to use and explore. So I'm very open to all those areas of looking at the human aspect, because then you start to see there's a lot of things, even though there's a minority, you could have similarities with someone completely different. And so I don't think isolating, but I think allowing that opportunity for students to drive that for sure.
So one of our pillars is to provide a safe and caring environment for all. Ways in which we do that are anytime a student or a family expresses a need to initiate a GSA, for example, a Gay Straight Alliance, that is automatically supported by our schools and assisted in formation by a teacher or administrator. We have an amazing FNMI team, a First Nations Métis Inuit team, that does a wonderful job all year long and not just on September 30th, the day for Truth and Reconciliation. They do an amazing job all year long of educating our students. And we also, a few terms ago, our division made the decision to incorporate the Medicine Hat Christian School into our division. So I think we are doing an amazing job of supporting all of our groups. And I like how, I think it was Pat who spoke to, I mean, the word indoctrination has been thrown around really inaccurately a lot in this political landscape, and I think that's unfair and absolutely inaccurate. So I think we do a really good job of supporting our students and their families. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I just have that last part of the question again? Thank you.
Should the school board encourage programs for students who may identify as minority groups, such as sexual and gender minorities, religious minorities, and cultural minorities?
I think the simple answer is yes, but to extend upon that answer, I would say one of the things that I've always taught my children is that no matter what someone's background, you can learn something from them. So I really love the idea of having groups, clubs created by our students that we encourage and we support and help them have, and then encouraging people outside of that group that don't necessarily identify with that culture or that belief, and have open dialogue so that they can learn about those things. I think it's incredible how much our community has changed in the last 18 years since my husband and I moved here. To see the diversity that we have and so many different cultures that we can learn from. So I highly encourage that in our schools.
So 100% supportive. The one thing I'm most proud of is the board itself is all on board with every opportunity for kids. We are there for them. We believe in a sense of belonging. We also have an amazing group of teachers that bring the kids together, and when the kids go up to the teachers and go, hey, I want to start a club, they're on board with them. And I think that's what I'm most proud of being a public school, is we are open to all children, and it doesn't matter your background, what club you want. Through investigation and discussion, we allow that club to happen so that every child has a sense of belonging. I think right now my biggest fear is that our kids aren't in school and they're not engaging in the clubs, and it's no different than a football club or a hockey club or an academy. If they want to be a part of a GSA or a poetry club, everything should be allowed, because every child has their diverse desires and their needs, and that all deserves a chance to be put in so they have a sense of belonging at the school level.
I think the key word in this is alliance. Like the GSAs are Gay Straight Alliance, and the name has changed since then, but the key word in that is alliance. You could have a Muslim student alliance, you can have a Christian school, you can have a gay gender alliance. Anything that allows people with a specific concern, but also embraces welcomes everybody else into it. So, as you said, we can learn from each other, constantly learn from each other. One of the strongest things the board has done in the last few years is we have, oops, I better go fast. We have a student senate now, and these are high school students who come to every board meeting. We can't even get adults to come to every board meeting because they're so dull sometimes. These students come and they stay for the whole meeting, and you can ask them questions, how do you think this will work? And they will tell you. And these aren't students, these are all not highly academic students. It's a real range of different kinds of students with different kinds of interests, and they are contributing to adult understandings of what it is we're trying to do. So alliances that start to embrace and bring everyone in that is interested in anything, and listening to students, because students have a lot more going on that they can share with people. And it's not really the board allowing it, it's the board embracing places for alliances. Okay, I'm good, I'm done. Got too excited.
Thank you for this question. I would, as the last speaker, I'd like to simply say ditto, but I guess I should say something. Okay, 90 seconds worth of ditto. So diversity in our classrooms makes us stronger. Diversity is our strength. When children are exposed to diversity in classrooms, they actually become more Canadian. We are a multicultural country, and I should be transparent and say I'm not happy with some of the policies on diversity coming down from this government. Every single child matters in our classrooms. So yes, I absolutely would advocate for these programs in our schools. I think kids can come up with great ideas for clubs, etc. They're excellent, and that's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
That's a good question. I too believe in diversity in the classrooms. I think our students can learn from one another. Like Wendland, I do have concerns with the policies that are coming down from the Alberta government. And I think if they do come down, we need to be able to advocate very strongly that these programs continue in our schools and our students have the opportunity to appreciate others. We're preparing them for life, and life is diversity. And if we don't prepare them at the young age, it becomes very awkward for them later in life. So I do believe that diversity is really important for our students. Thank you.
I also agree with a lot that has been said, that we do need to encourage for everybody to feel safe and included. We need to find out what do they need to feel included. So I think learning about the different cultures that are coming within, like the different families that are coming. I seem to remember being part of George Davison school that they had a cultural day where the different cultures were able to come and show what was special about them, what their beliefs were, what the different special, what made their culture special, what made them special. And I believe Crescent Heights does the same thing during lunch hours. So if they need to find a place where they can all come together and share that, and for all of us to learn what makes them special, what makes them different, because that's what makes up our community so special, is the diversity within it.
Great question. I think as a school board division, we've actually done a really excellent job at this, and being a lifelong, I went here as a kid, and then I have my daughter who's now in college, and now I have a son in elementary, and I still see the diversity programming, cultural stuff. I do think as a school board we could even expand on that and do like an expo kind of event to bring it more further into the community. But as a school district, I think we've done a really fantastic job in this department.
Short answer, yes. Long answer. Encourage, I would actually replace the word encourage with empower. So we should empower as a division kids to seek out opportunities to create places where they can feel a sense of belonging and create a sense of belonging for others. Because we know that when we find community, it makes us have something to care about, which is really important, especially when you're a kid. And being able to explore, as some people have said, people who might be different than you, people who might have different beliefs than you. Also, I think that we need to understand that, just to speak on the government and what kind of things that they're handing down, they're downloading some of these issues onto teachers, and I think that's not fair. Diversity doesn't start at adulthood. We have people, these are fully fledged human beings who are finding their way as kids, and they should have every opportunity to explore all parts of themselves and of other people. And teachers don't want to be put in the middle of these issues. They want to be there for the kids, they want to support them. So not encourage, we should empower them. Slightly related, maybe not, but my daughter's in grade 5, and she said, I really wish that we had a Valentine's Day dance. And I said, well, the person you need to talk to is Oliver's mom. She's on the parent council, right? That's how you can make sure a dance happens. Now a dance is going to happen at River Heights, and that's awesome. So empower kids to be advocates for themselves so that when they're adults, they can be advocates then too.
All right, thank you, candidates. We're now up to closing comments. So we're going to start way down at the end with Mrs. Yvonne Sissons, working our way back towards the podium here, and we still have a 90-second timer.
Okay, thank you to everyone for giving us your precious time this evening. I have diligently served as your public school board trustee for the last 4 years, and the relationships and trust I have built over the term would surely serve me well in this future role. If elected, I will continue to ensure a high-caliber education for all students by providing a parent's voice, which is essential for perspective and balance on the board. I will advocate for dual credit and trades opportunities as families and community stakeholders indicated the need for students to be more prepared for the workforce. Our division has made many efforts and partnerships to expand dual credit offerings through Medicine Hat College and Olds College. A new partnership with Lethbridge Polytechnic called Prairie Sky Collegiate will provide career pathways for grades 7 to 12 in the trades and other vocations. Our registered apprenticeship program allows students to start working towards their first or even second year in the certified trades. I will continue to support our focused programming options, such as Crestwood STEM School, Dr. Ken Sauer Fine Arts School, and our long-standing French immersion programming from K to 12. Another recent success has been the launch of our hockey and ringette academies across 5 of our schools, resulting in student retention and engagement. We've also largely expanded our sports academy offerings for our middle school populations, and it's been a board priority to make these academies affordable to all families. I hope I can count on your vote so I can continue in the work of the Medicine Hat Public School Board. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for coming out, and thank you everyone that are watching this at home for the opportunity to share my vision for Medicine Hat public education. My decision to run for school board trustee carries special meaning. It continues a proud Southern Alberta tradition of public service, just as J.C. Bowen and great-grandpa Gilbert served as lieutenant governors of Alberta, dedicating themselves to building strong communities and institutions for future generations. I'm committed to ensuring our schools prepare our children for tomorrow's challenges. As a certified management consultant and CMC Canada Project of the Year winner, I bring proven expertise in strategic planning, organizational development, and experience securing funding. I've helped organizations across sectors navigate complex challenges, always focusing on sustainable, long-term solutions. But this isn't just about professional credentials, it's about our community's future. And every child deserves access to quality education, regardless of their background or challenges. Our teachers deserve the resources and support to do their best work. Our taxpayers deserve transparent, efficient use of their investment in education. I offer a unique combination, deep roots in Southern Alberta, professional expertise in solving complex organizational challenges, and genuine commitment to our children's success. Like those before me who have served this province with distinction, I'm ready to serve Medicine Hat families, ensuring our schools remain places of opportunity, growth, and excellence. Together we can build an educational system that honors our past, preparing our children for the futures.
Done.
Thank you.
I know.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming out and supporting public education and giving us this platform to speak to you tonight. A lot of people have asked me what my platform is, and quite honestly, I don't really have one. I don't have a personal agenda, and I'm just here for public education. I believe that I'm a product of public education. My kids are, and I'm pretty sure most of us in this room are from public education along the way. I think my foundational principles, who I am as a person, are all influences right from public education, and I think that is such a legacy then to continue with for our community and our province and our country. My career, 35 years as an educator, teacher, coach, and a parent. I believe I can continue with that type of dedication with our district and continue to give back and serve. That's certainly the way I feel about that. I've had influences along the way that make me consider this job, and some of those influences have been like Dr. Roy Wilson, Brian Laidlaw, and even Rick Massini here, people that I've admired and looked up to and support public education along the way. My connection to the community, I think, will be one of the strengths as a trustee, and I think bringing those relationships along the way to our district and then to our parents and to our kids and the community as in whole can be one of my strengths in building relationships. Relationships have always been a key as a teacher, educator. I think relationships are the cornerstone of education, and definitely where we need to start. Thanks, Pat.
I too appreciate what Quinn said about an agenda. I don't have an agenda. What I do is I really believe in what our district has been doing in the last 4 years. I'm most honored to stand with my fellow trustees, because what they taught me when I first got involved in being a trustee is the number one most important thing is our students. I love public education. I love what our school's done. I love what Yvonne indicated, all the programs that we're running, because we really believe what's best for our students. So I appreciate those programs. We have incredible teachers. We are so fortunate to have some of the best educators anywhere. And because of that, our students are learning and constantly growing in their profession. It just inspires me when I go into a classroom to see the work that they're doing. I'm also inspired by our parents, the involvement they've had at school council meetings, the involvement they have when you ask them to come out and volunteer. It's amazing. But I want to go back to talk a little bit about other things that our schools are doing and our teachers are doing, from school council meetings to theater programs to band programs to coaching school sports to all those commitments. It's unwavering, and we need to continue that. And that's what we have here, and that's what I want to support. And of course, as I said before, it's just amazing to watch our students. They're the reason that we're here. When you walk through our schools, you see their smiling faces, you see the energy that they have. That's incredible, and that's because of the work that our teachers, our administrators, and our district's done. I want to still be a part of that. I'm incredibly proud of all the accomplishments. I want to see us continue it. I look forward to serving, if I can, another term, and I'd like your support.
Done.
And we need to increase funding.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Megan Hilgendorf. So my decision to run was twofold. I am the vice chair of the Medicine Hat Public Library Board. I am in my 4th year right now, and I've learned a lot in the last 4 years about working with a group of people and governance, specifically the difference between governance and operations. I feel like I have a very good understanding of that. Not that I know everything. I would expect that when I walked into the boardroom, if I was elected, I would have some learning to do, and I'm more than willing to do that, because I know that when you have a diverse group of people that are unified in their common goal, and that is the students, they are going to serve everybody best, and I'm committed to doing that. I'm also a parent of 2 kids that are in the public school division, and I've seen firsthand how amazing our educators were. I would echo everything Pat said, and I got to work for 4 years as a strength and conditioning coach in the public school system, and that gave me a lot of really cool insight as well. See, for notably what 30 students looks like when you actually see them in front of you. It's a whole different experience. I am here to serve everybody in good faith. Advocacy is in my blood. I've been a volunteer in the community for over 10 years, and I'm not going to stop. So I'm hoping that you can see me as someone who you can trust to help lead our division into the future and work as a good teammate to the school board team.
Thank you everyone for coming tonight, and thanks for your patience with me. This is my first time ever public speaking, so I've been wafting between puking and crying here, but I came into this as a parent who's been frustrated with some communication issues and some things I don't see us pursuing, and that was my goal was just to come and bring some issues out, and good luck to everyone.
Hi, I'm Janelle Vargo, and I am a mother of two, one with autistic and other special needs. I am a former EA that has worked alongside the amazing EAs and the amazing teachers and the amazing administrators that has made the difference within so many children's lives. And I have a passion to continue on advocating for students with special needs like my son that I have done. I am also taking my therapist assistant degree, and I just feel that now is the time for me to bring my past experience, my learning that I'm doing right now, to bring it forward and helping to to help expand and to help I've had such a passion for this school district, working within it. When I had to stop working, it broke my heart. So I want to continue on making a difference within the school district, and I hope that you will vote for me so I can help continue on being your voice and yet also listen to what you need.
I'm Jan Klein Farmer, and I bring 15 years of experience as a daycare director, where I learned firsthand how vital early learning and strong community partnerships are for our children's success. For the past 10 years, for 10 years, I shouldn't say the past. For 10 years, I was I had the privilege of serving on Canadian Mental Health Board, both locally and provincially. Through that, I learned advocacy for accessible support and understanding the importance of mental health wellness in every classroom. In addition, I've had managerial experiences with fiscal responsibility, ensuring budgets are managed responsibly and transparently. Skills I believe that are essential for maintaining a strong and sustainable public education system. But beyond that, beyond my professional experience, I bring a parent's perspective. As a mom who has navigated the educational system with a child who has special needs, I've seen both the challenges and the incredible potential of inclusive education. I know how important it is that every child feels supported and that parents feel heard. I'm running for school trustee because I believe in the public education works for every child, every student, where teachers are supportive.
Thank you, ATA Local Number 1, and thank you for all of you for providing us this opportunity to share our visions with you tonight. If you can elect me as your trustee, I want you to know this will not be a part-time commitment. I taught for 33 years, both in the public system and at the college, but as a retiree, I have the time, energy, passion, and dedication to make this my full-time focus. I have the expertise in education because I have a master's in curriculum and assessment and my time in the classroom. I also have experience in governance to do this job, as I served on the Police Commission in Medicine Hat as commissioner and as a vice chair, and I also served on the Provincial Police Board. My goal is to listen to you and your concerns. Whether you're a parent, a teacher, support staff, educational assistant, or any other stakeholder, your voice matters. I want to find solutions, work together with the rest of the board to see how we can continue to improve and ensure the best possible outcomes for our students. I'm deeply committed to students, families, and educators. I also promise to be a very strong advocate to you, to this government, for improved funding for public education.
And done.
Vote for me.
Something I think about just about every day is that the 5-year-olds that are entering kindergarten right now will be 80 when we go into our next century. And in this century, there are so many things that have already started to happen that have sort of caught us off guard that we have to create in our education system. We have to make it so that incredible, inquiring, creative, nimble minds are able to negotiate this. I won't last that long, but those 5-year-olds, many of them will. So I can tell you what my commitments are. I want to make a better 21st century world while navigating the various challenges that emerge each and every day. I'm committed to being a lifelong learner. I fairly recently just got a PhD because I can't stop learning new things, doing original research on incorporating creative thinking and decision-making into all we do, and also incorporating Indigenous ways of knowing into all of this, and I had some really fantastic mentors in that. I'm committed to help our school division lead as well as follow. And I'm committed to being a steward of this district so that we're looking at our past, learning from our past, situating ourselves in our present, but also working toward that magical future that those 5-year-olds are going to be running fairly soon. As I said, I'm really committed to listening to student input through our Student Senate and other ways of decision making. A big commitment to me is being a member of a board that operates with empathy, compassion, good manners, and understanding, even when we do not agree.
Well, education is just in my blood, and so I just want to say I've been honored to serve as a trustee for Medicine Hat Public School Division, and my focus has always been what's doing best for students. Every decision I make starts with the question, how will this help kids to learn, to grow, to make a better world? We've worked hard to make our schools places where every student feels included, supported, and inspired to do their best. We welcomed an online school, The Hub, through the pandemic, and supported the continuation of its service for what's best for the students who truly thrive in that environment. Together, we've made meaningful progress. We've strengthened mental health supports, expanded programming, and created real opportunities for students to explore their passions and plan their futures. From our arts and sports academies to STEM programming, dual credit options, and work experience opportunities, we're preparing students for a future filled with possibilities, including careers that don't exist yet. I have served as a steady, reliable, and trustworthy chair, ensuring our board's work remains transparent, collaborative, and student-focused. I am proud of the accomplishment to work alongside student delegates at the board table to ensure student voices are heard. This has been very rewarding and exciting to see how far we have come as an open, collaborative, diverse group of humans that are all in it for the students and what is best for them. But there's still more work ahead. I want to keep building on ensuring our classrooms have the resources they need.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. One of the things I noticed is that my resume is not as extensive as all these amazing people. But what I lack in experience I bring to the table so much passion. I am very passionate about our education system, about supporting families, because I've seen the difference it makes for my own family when we feel supported, as well as for others. I believe I'd make a strong trustee because I understand the complex challenges facing our schools from multiple perspectives. I've worked directly with schools to support staff and families of children with disabilities, and I've seen firsthand the frustration that can arise when parents feel unheard and educators are limited by funding and policy. The Education Act requires every student to have access to quality education, and it's the board's responsibility to make sure that happens. When essential supports are lacking, we need to find solutions, not excuses. As a social worker, I also bring valuable insight into the mental health challenges our students and teachers face today. We're seeing rising stress and burnout among teachers and children struggling under the weight of social pressures. I want to see stronger evidence-based mental health supports across our schools, ones that truly meet the needs of both students and staff. My priorities as trustee are simple but vital: improving transparency so our community can see how decisions are made, strengthening how we address bullying so every child feels safe, and supporting the incredible academies and programs that make our district stand out.
Done. This concludes the formal program for this evening's Medicine Hat School Board Trustee Candidate Forum. Please join me in another round of applause to thank all of the candidates for their time, their words, and their desire to help our school system to thrive.